Something happened at school today, Mama. Something terrible.
Terrible things are the Lord's way of testing us, Carrie.
I know. But the other girls...
You're not like the other girls.
But I am, Mama.
No, you're not.
You are special. Please listen to me,
I've heard
Mama.
all I want to hear.
Mama, in the showers, the other girls...
You're forbidden to shower with the other girls.
I know...
Forbidden.
I started to bleed. And the other girls laughed at me. And they called me names, and they pushed me, and I fell, and Miss Gardner came in, and she slapped me. And there was a flash and a bang, and a light bulb broke. And then they got me dressed. Mama, what is it? Why are you looking at me like that? Mama, you're frightening me.
Bow your head and pray. And God made Eve from the rib of Adam. And Eve was weak, and loosed the raven on the world.
Mama,
the raven was called sin. And the first sin was the sin of lust. So God visited Eve with a curse, and the curse was the curse of blood. And God made Eve from Adam's rib, and Eve was weak.
Mama.
And Eve was weak.
How could I know?
Eve was weak.
Why didn't you
God
tell
made
me?
Eve to bear the curse of blood.
It's not a curse, Mama.
The curse of blood.
It's something all girls go through.
The curse of blood.
You should have told me.
Down in the cellar and pray, woman. Pray to heaven for your wicked soul.
Mama, take it.
The raven came to plague the world. His name was sin.
It's not a sin.
His name was sin.
Mama, it's
His name
not
was
a
sin.
sin.
And lust was how the sin began. The sin was man.
I don't understand.
Well, understand.
No.
The sin was man.
What have I
God
done?
has seen your sinning, just beginning. Hooray for your salvation from damnation. He will burn you. He will burn you. The seed conveys the power, and it's come again.
Mama, what is this
It's come
seed?
again.
Don't
It's
you
come
care
again.
that I started to
Until the
bleed?
seeds crash, the power never ends. It never ends. It never ends.
Mama, I was so scared, and they all stared. I thought I was dying. I started crying. Mama, please don't.
You'll become Satan's
hurt
For
me.
mercy, get down on your knees.
Don't.
You got Jezebel's
hurt
Your soul is a hole of disease. I can see you inside.
Don't believe when you're
I can see how you lie.
but I never told you.
That's how Lucifer fell.
Mama, how could I know?
And you're headed for hell. I won't
Mama,
let
let
you
me
go.
go.
Satan loves a sinner.
I'm not a sinner.
Satan's salt and burning. God is burning. Prayer. He will burn. He will burn. God made Eve from Adam's rib, and Eve was weak. And Eve was weak. And I was weak. I prayed this day would never come. I should have known. I should have known. Now I am alone and so afraid. Oh Lord, I've seen this power before. The flesh is weak and I am low. Father, don't forsake her, but take her. Cleanse and purify her with the fire and the power and the glory forever and ever and ever.
Mama, please, something happened at school today. Something terrible.
Terrible things are the Lord's way of testing us, Carrie.
I know, but the other girls...
You're not like the other girls.
But I am,
No,
Mama.
you're not.
I
You're
am. I
special.
never thought
Special.
so. You're not listening to me, Mama.
I've heard all I want to hear. Now please go set the table.
Mama, in the showers,
What have I told you about showering with the other
I
girls?
know.
What have I told
Sin.
you?
It's a sin.
And as such, it is forbidden.
Mama,
Forbidden!
I started to bleed. Mama, I started to bleed, and the other girls, they laughed at me and called me names, and I was so scared. Mama, why are you looking at me like that?
The curse of blood.
Mama, you're frightening me.
Bow your head and pray, woman. And God made Eve from the rib of Adam, and Eve was weak and loosed the raven on the
Mommy,
world.
it was
And
my
the
fault.
raven was called sin. And God visited Eve with the curse, and the curse was the curse of blood. Say it, woman. And God made Eve from Adam's rib, and Eve was weak.
Mama, how can
And
I
Eve
know?
was weak. And Eve was weak.
Why didn't you tell me?
And God made Eve to bear the curse of blood.
It's not a curse. Miss Gardner
curse
said it's
of
something
blood.
all girls go through.
The curse of blood.
You should have told me!
Bow your head and pray.
Mama.
You are a woman now. Pray to heaven for your wicked soul. The raven came to plague the world. Its name was sin.
It's not sin.
Its name was sin.
Oh, Mama, it's
Its
not
name was
sin.
Begin. And lust was how the sin began. The sin was man. Well, understand.
No.
The sin was man.
What have I done?
God has seen your sinning just beginning. Pray for your salvation from damnation. Pray or he will burn you. He will burn you. See, it conveys the power and it's come again. Come away, it's come again. Don't you care that I started to until the seed is crushed, the power never ends. It never ends. It never ends.
Mama, I was so scared, and they all stared. Then I started crying. I thought I was dying. Mama, please go.
Have you no sense of shame? Pray for mercy.
Down on your knees.
Satan's taking his place. Your soul is a hole of disease. I can see you inside.
Don't believe with your eyes.
Full of sin, full of pride.
Other lies, Mama, lies.
That's how Lucifer fell.
Mama, how could I know?
And you're heading for hell. I won't let you go. Heaven hates a sinner. Hates a sinner. Save yourself from burning. Flesh is burning. My God will burn you. He will burn you. And God made Eve from Adam's rib, and Eve was weak. And Eve was weak. And I was weak. I prayed this day would never come. I should have known. I should have known. Now I'm alone and so afraid.